My dear Capricorn, not every career path is built for the same kind of person, and the ones that were not built for you tend to reveal themselves through a very specific kind of frustration. The structure is unclear. The accountability is vague. The people in charge got there through politics rather than merit. And you are sitting at a desk doing work that could be done better by a more organized system with clearer standards and actual consequences for not meeting them. That frustration is not cynicism. It is a professional compass. It is telling you that your particular combination of discipline, long-range thinking, and genuine respect for earned authority belongs somewhere that deserves it. Finding that place is not luck. It is pattern recognition. And it starts with being honest about what you actually need from a working environment. Capricorn is a cardinal Earth sign ruled by Saturn. In plain professional terms, that combination produces one of the most distinctive vocational profiles in the zodiac. Saturn governs structure, discipline, time, responsibility, and the slow but irreversible accumulation of mastery through sustained effort. Cardinal signs initiate. They are not passive. They identify what needs to be built and they begin building it, methodically and without waiting for ideal conditions. Earth as an element is practical, grounded, and oriented toward outcomes that can be measured, held, and relied upon. Together, those qualities produce someone who is not just willing to do the hard work. You are genuinely suspicious of paths that do not require it. If something came too easily, you are probably still checking whether it is actually solid. That instinct has served you well more times than you have acknowledged out loud. The first field worth considering seriously is corporate and institutional leadership, executive management, and the senior operational roles where the primary task is building organizations that function at a high level over the long term. This covers chief operating roles, general management, institutional administration, and the leadership positions in finance, government, and large-scale organizations where strategic planning and operational discipline are the core requirements. For Capricorn, this is not just a compatible environment. It is the professional context that was essentially designed around the way your mind naturally works. Saturn gives Capricorn a native fluency with organizational structure that most leaders spend decades trying to develop consciously. You understand intuitively that a well-designed system produces better outcomes than a talented individual working inside a poorly designed one. You think about accountability before problems arise. You build reporting structures, standards, and review processes not because you enjoy bureaucracy, you enjoy reliability. And reliability at organizational scale requires exactly the kind of structural thinking that Saturn produces. Cardinal Earth means you do not just identify what is broken. You move to fix it, practically, with a plan that accounts for the resources actually available rather than the ones you wish you had. Here is the scene. You have inherited or stepped into a leadership role inside an organization that has been running on informal systems and personal relationships rather than documented processes. Things have been working well enough as long as the same people stay in the same roles. But the fragility is visible to you immediately. You spend your first several weeks watching, asking questions, mapping how decisions actually get made versus how they are supposed to get made. You are not disruptive about it. You are diagnostic. And then you begin building, quietly at first, one process at a time, replacing the informal with the reliable. Some people resist. You expect that. What you do not do is stop. By the time the organization looks back on that period, the improvements are so embedded in how things work that most people have forgotten the environment that existed before you arrived. That is a Capricorn leader at full capacity. The transformation is visible. The hand that made it is almost invisible. Long term, what Capricorn builds in organizational leadership is a legacy of institutional strength. Where charismatic leaders build movements that depend on their continued presence, Capricorn builds structures that outlast the person who designed them. Your greatest professional contribution is rarely the decision you made in year 1. It is the organization you left behind in year 20 that is still performing at a high standard because the foundations were laid with that kind of care. That is a rarer form of leadership greatness than most people recognize, and it is entirely yours. Here is where to start. If organizational leadership is the direction you are building toward and you are not yet in a senior role, find one operational problem in your current environment that has no owner and make it yours. Not dramatically, practically. Identify the gap, design the fix, implement it with whatever authority you currently have, and document the result. Do that 3 times and you will have demonstrated more leadership capacity than 100 conversations about your ambitions ever could. Capricorn rises through evidence, not declaration. Start leaving evidence. The second path that tends to align deeply with Capricorn's vocational psychology is finance, accounting, and the professional management of capital and institutional resources. This covers investment management, corporate finance, public accounting, financial analysis, actuarial science, and the strategic financial advisory roles inside organizations of every kind. What makes this a natural fit goes well beyond the surface assumption that Capricorn is good with numbers. You are not just good with numbers. You are good with the relationship between numbers and time. You understand that financial decisions made today have consequences that compound over years, and you take that compounding seriously in a way that most people, including many finance professionals, do not. Saturn rules time and the long-term consequences of decisions made in the present. In a financial context, that quality produces a practitioner who is genuinely oriented toward durability rather than just performance. You are not chasing the best return this quarter. You are building the portfolio, the balance sheet, or the financial structure that will still be sound in a decade. That orientation is precisely what institutional investors, long-term financial planners, and the organizations that need their financial foundations to hold under pressure are looking for. Cardinal Earth means you act on that long-term orientation rather than simply holding it as a preference. You build toward it, one sound decision at a time. Picture this moment. A financial situation has developed that is creating pressure to make a fast decision. There is a compelling short-term argument for a move that you know, structurally, creates a longer-term vulnerability. The people around you are focused on solving the immediate problem. You are focused on what solving it this way will cost 18 months from now. So you slow the conversation down, not by obstructing it, by asking the questions that make the longer timeline visible to everyone in the room. You do not win every one of those conversations, but the ones you win tend to matter more than the ones you lose. Over time, the people around you begin to understand that when you slow down a fast-moving financial decision, there is almost always a reason worth hearing. That credibility is not given. It is earned, one careful intervention at a time. Over a long career in finance, what Capricorn develops is a professional reputation for being the person whose judgment holds up under review. Not the most exciting analyst in the room, the most reliable one. The one whose projections prove out, whose risk assessments prove accurate, whose recommendations age well rather than looking sharp in the moment and embarrassing in retrospect. That quality of durable professional judgment is what the most consequential financial roles are actually built around. It takes time to build. Capricorn is constitutionally prepared to take the time. This is the move to make. If finance is the direction you are building toward, go deep on the history of financial crises and institutional failures in your area of interest. Not to become pessimistic, to understand the structural conditions that produce failure so that you can recognize them early and build around them. The practitioners who navigate long careers in finance without catastrophic errors are almost always the ones who took the history seriously. Find the most instructive historical case studies in your specific lane and study them until you understand not just what happened, but why the people involved did not see it coming. That study is the most honest preparation for a career built on lasting financial judgment. The third career path worth naming for Capricorn is government, public administration, and the policy professions. This covers elected and appointed government service, civil service leadership, public policy analysis and development, regulatory administration. and the institutional roles within government bodies and public agencies, where the task is building and maintaining the systems by which societies govern themselves. For some Capricorns, this is the most obvious fit imaginable. For others, it arrives as a surprise. Either way, it belongs on this list because the core requirement of effective public administration is precisely the quality Capricorn brings most naturally: the willingness to build something that works for the long term, regardless of whether you personally receive the credit. Saturn is the planet most closely associated with government, law, institutional authority, and civic structure in traditional astrological frameworks. That association is not accidental. The qualities Saturn represents in an individual, patience, discipline, long-range thinking, the willingness to accept responsibility for outcomes, are exactly the qualities that functioning public institutions require from the people who run them. Cardinal Earth in a public administration context means you are not content to study policy from the outside. You are drawn to the work of actually implementing it, of taking the abstract framework and building the operational reality that makes it function for real people in real circumstances. Here is the scene. A policy has been approved and passed down for implementation. It was designed at a level of abstraction that left significant operational gaps. The people responsible for implementing it are frustrated. The timeline is unrealistic. The resources allocated do not match the scope of the task. And the stakeholders who will be affected are beginning to hear conflicting information about what is actually going to happen. Most administrators in that situation manage upward, downward, and sideways simultaneously and hope the gaps close themselves. You do something different. You build a working document that maps the gap between the policy as written and the reality of implementation. You identify the 3 decisions that need to be made before anything else can move forward. You present them to the people who have the authority to make them, in plain language, with clear options and honest assessments of what each option costs. The decisions get made. The implementation moves. And the policy eventually reaches the people it was designed to serve. That is public administration done at the Capricorn standard. Not glamorous. Genuinely useful. Over a long career in government and public administration, what Capricorn builds is an institutional knowledge base that becomes increasingly rare and increasingly valuable as time passes. You remember how the last reorganization actually affected service delivery. You know which partnerships with external organizations have historically produced results, and which ones looked better on paper than they performed in practice. You know where the bodies are buried, metaphorically speaking, and you use that knowledge not for leverage but for continuity. That institutional memory, combined with your structural instincts, makes you the person that successive waves of leadership quietly depend on to keep the machine running while they pursue their own agendas. That is a form of professional power that does not come with a title. It comes with time, and Capricorn is one of the few signs that understands the difference between the two. Here is how to move toward this path. If public administration or policy work interests you and you are not yet formally in that world, find a civic board, a local government committee, or a public advisory body in your community and seek an appointment or a volunteer role. Local government is where the most direct connection between policy design and operational reality exists, and that direct connection is where Capricorn learns fastest. Attend public meetings, read budget documents, understand how decisions actually get made at the local level before you pursue roles at higher levels of government. The mechanics are similar at every level. The stakes just get larger. Learn the mechanics first. Before you close this out, take a genuine moment with what you just heard. Of those 3 fields, organizational and executive leadership, finance and capital management, and government and public administration, which one felt like something you have been quietly preparing for your entire professional life, whether you knew it or not? Which one named a drive in you that you have perhaps not given yourself full permission to claim? And which one arrived unexpectedly and left you sitting with a question you were not planning to ask yourself? Leave a comment telling me which path landed most honestly for you. Or tell me which of these fields you are already working in and whether this description matched the reality of what that career actually demands on a daily basis. Those reflections from people doing the actual work are what give a community like this its real value. If this kind of grounded, sign-specific vocational clarity is useful to you, subscribing means more of it continues to find its way to you. My dear Capricorn, this is a return to video. Please make sure to save it and revisit whenever you need it. Also, obviously don't forget to like and subscribe. And have a blessed day.